best buddy puts his hand on your thigh, and you feel your pecker head scrape against the zipper of your favorite pair of ripped jeans. Your butthole puckers. That's the feeling of driving a Ford truck. Ford. No girls allowed.
Are you recording this, dude?
Alright, today we're back working on my buddy's truck, 2021 Ford Ranger APG. We're gonna do skid plates, put some protection on the underbody, that way we can take it off-road without too much worry. Alright, so first thing we're gonna do is remove the OEM transfer case guard. So you need to take off this harness right on the frame to access the diamond hole. Alright, so you gotta stick the bolt and washers through on the other end to come through on the diamond end and through this cross member. An additional set of hands will be very helpful, or use a jack in place. So it should look like this, and you're gonna have to tap your own holes, or rather drill your own holes. Start with a smaller drill bit. We're going to work our way up into a 1/2 inch. Alright, I'm going to let you do this.
What? You tired?
Cool. Alright, so they included this nut
Sorry.
welded to a steel tab, and you're able to stick it in there from the top side down. Here, go ahead. And that way you're able to screw it in place. So that tab with the nut goes on the inner side of the frame, and you're able to jam the bolt through. Alright, after you're done with everything, tuck your wires back in, zip tie them if you need to. Just make sure they're not dangling. Installing this bolt for this transfer case skid is a little pain in the ass. You're gonna have to have either a magnet or 2 people working on it to hold the bolt and drop the bolt on the other side. So this is where you're gonna fish it through. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you can also drop it down from the top, but that's a little harder. So you're gonna use a magnet and your fingers, maybe an extra set of hands. This is probably the biggest pain in the ass so far. Trying to sneak in the washers and the locking nut. Or sorry, locking washer, the bolt, and the nut. Took us a couple tries using a magnet and fingering around in there, but finally got it.
You like fingering around. Why is that funny?
You sure that thing's tight?
That's not going anywhere.
Alright. Alright, so now we're taking off the factory engine skid plate. Couple bolts. This way, 4 bolts were able to access the holes needed to install the transmission and the engine skid plate by Shrock Works. Alright, so here's a side-by-side comparison. This is the factory transmission skid plate. Looks like it's stamped sheet metal. This is aluminum, 3/16. Alright, so now this is the transmission skid plate. This goes on top of the transfer case skid plate. And after that, we're going to do the engine skid plate and the radiator skid plate.
I got it. It's on, I got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not held on by the bumper, bro.
I got it, dude. No, it's not wedging anymore. It was. But now you listen to this one.
Alright, this is the new radiator skid plate. This is the one he purchased in steel, 3/16 steel. This is factory. Stamped steel? Stamped aluminum? I don't know what this is. That's a lot sturdier. And it's boxed. So we ran into a problem. Looks like we're gonna have to take off the front bumper, APG bumper, because we need access to this bolt back here for the front radiator skid. We're going to slide in. so we were able to loosen up the steel bumper and slide in the radiator plates. And now we're tightening back up the tow hitch, which is detached from the bumper. It's actually directly to the frame. So it wasn't too bad. We didn't have to take off the front bumper and disconnect everything. We were able to sneak it in. The one issue is that Shrock Works actually gave us the wrong bolts. Thread pitch was off compared to factory.
I think it was fine thread, we need coarse.
Yeah, so we're actually reusing the factory bolts. And yeah,
And what?
it's a little ugly. Looks a little ghetto, but you know what? He's a ghetto guy. He likes ghetto things and ghetto women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's alright. We're just gonna use these stock bolts. It'll work. He'll replace it down the line. They're still grade 8. Or they're grade 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still grade 8. They'll be fine.
I don't know what they are, to be honest.
Alright, this is what the finished product looks like. You got protection for the radiator, the engine, transmission, transfer case. The only thing that's still exposed is the gas tank and the diff and the drive shaft. But I don't think Shrock Works makes a kit for that, so this is what you get for about $1,000 or so. So we just got done installing all that all the skid plates. Took about between 3 to 4 hours with 2 guys. Hardest part was probably the drilling, but that's because we had bad drill bits and we didn't want to go get brand new ones. Other than that, everything else was plug and play. Used existing holes that were already in the frame. One thing is, a couple of the bolts that were given by Shrock Works were incorrect. Luckily we had some on hand. Anything you want to add? Yeah. That was it. Not too bad. It was pretty easy. Most people could do it by themselves, especially if your truck is already somewhat lifted. You don't even have to jack it up. You could just, you know, slide under there and bolt it right to the existing holes. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.